How to microflip real estate 101. Speed flipping, lease option houses and assignable lease option houses the same day. How do you, when people talk about micro wholesaling, speed assignments, micro flipping, all these different terms. The best term we came up with, by the way, is quantum real estate, quantum flipping. It's from our class on the double slit experiment. You can check that out. It's a great class. How to do all this zero down without leaving the crib. Who wrote that? Without leaving your house. Be able to do this real quickly. So there's 5 kinds of micro flipping. One is iBuyers. These are serious people. They're places like Glassdoor. These guys are geniuses. Silicon Valley. I know people say, oh, anyone can compete with them. These people are doing to real estate what Uber did to cabs. They're doing the same thing that Airbnb did to the hotels. These guys are serious people. They've got cash. They're paying 98.6% of the asking price. They still found a way to make money. These guys are geniuses. It's not feasible to go against them. Number 2 is getting leads and arbitrage. So you get a list of leads for like 5 cents. You sell it for 50 cents. I don't recommend doing that because you might as well work with these people a little bit deeper and make more money. Number 3 is to assign the offer, get a cash offer, and then sell or assign it fast. In order to do that, you have to have a good relationship with your buyers and a good relationship with your sellers. But this is something, we're not talking about doing this right now. That's not what we're going to focus on today. 4 is to actually close and then resell the deal. Now you do this, it can be either terms or cash. You're going to need a consumer. In this case, you're going to need an actual buyer or seller, the end user. And that's what we're talking about today. Today, we're going to talk about how to microflip lease option houses and exactly how you're going to close or potentially close, and then you're going to move it. Either way, whenever we talk about a consumer, a buyer and seller, for every piece of real estate that we're going to buy or look at, we eventually need, someone's going to need a buyer or a renter. So by marketing to that buyer or renter, you're making it easier for the person that's in between. If it's not you, if you're not finding the end user, somebody needs to find the end user to microflip the houses. And the whole point here is to be able to do these deals really quickly, really fast. What the hell's going on with this thing? Why does it keep moving back? And be able to do them at light speed. In order to do that, we're going to go through these steps so you can buy and sell these deals the same day, sometimes the same hour, and close these deals quickly. So that's what we're doing. Number 4, we're actually going to close and then resell, and we're actually going to find an end user, a buyer or a seller. Number 5 is some combination, some hybrid. It could be one or a mixture of all the above. Those are the 5 different types of micro flipping. So when people talk about micro flipping, it's a hot term right now. It's nothing new. Basically, it's the same thing that's been done for a long time. The only thing new is what Glassdoor is doing. They're doing a revolution in real estate, and that is different. Everything else is basically the same way. Okay, so today we're going to focus on number 4, actually closing and then reselling the property on terms, not cash deals. These are going to be on terms. So how to microflip assignable lease options, rent to buy lease option houses, how to buy and sell them the same day. There's 2 main ways to do lease options. One is a master lease option, where you talk to the seller, you become the master lease, and then you sublet the property out. You sublease it out. Number 2 is that you assign the lease option and you connect the buyer and the seller directly. Those are the 2 main ways to do deals. What determines whether or not you're going to be involved is how much money there is every month and how much money there is on the back end. Remember, there's 3 types of money buckets: money now, money over time, and money later. With the lease option, the master lease, you're working with the seller directly, and then there's enough money in the monthly in the back end where you're going to be in between. It's going to be like a sandwich lease, also called. Remember, there's many terms arrangements, things we've talked about, like subject to, contract, multiple mortgage, a master lease where you're the master lease, then you sublet it out without an option, rent with an option, etc. You can do just a assignable offer. Each one of these has different levels of control and they're different layers of priority and buying real estate zero down. What the hell is that thing doing? Why does it keep doing that? But they will work with the same based on monthly and spread equity. I'm tech savvy here. So all these terms deals are the same. Either there's money up front, either there's money over time, or there's money later, or all 3, or one of the 3, or 2 of the 3. So based on where the money is, determines your involvement and how often you're going to be involved. If there's not money monthly or down the road within the equity on the back end, then you just assign it and move on. But you always want to make sure you take care of these people. Make sure that the buyer knows exactly what they need to do, the tenant buyer, to be able to approve that for the house. Okay, so to do this, you need 3 simple things. First, you need a buying side team. All right, so in order to buy and sell houses, you have to be able to buy and sell houses, right? So you need your buying side team. This is your buying side, the buying people you're going to be having. They're going to screen the properties. They're going to negotiate the details. They're going to write offers for you without talking to you. They're going to run the numbers. They're going to love on providers, and they're going to do that part, right? Now, the selling side is that what do you do once you get the deals? Then you got to market the properties, sign lockbox and showings. Your realtor, your agent's going to do that, the signs and the lockbox and showings. I have a great class on how to make like $5,000 a week with signs. It's like 20 grand a week or whatever I said, and whatever people are doing, all kinds of crazy stuff. Go through my class on that, because your checklist, your policies on signs, you want your team to execute. Signs, lockbox, and showing, so that the agent can show the properties. And then keep the dialogue with the best people, build your VIPs. There's 2 groups of VIPs we're building, your VIP buyers and your VIP providers, and they keep loving on everybody. 3 is the relationship side. Next, build your VIP list of buyers and providers, right? So those are only 3 things you need to do: the buying side, the selling side, and the relationship side. The relationship side is the most important. Because you get that right, everything else is easy. The most important equity is in the relationships with your buyers and sellers, your agents and providers. It's the most important thing, the relationship equity that you're building. 3 main parties involved here. Agent, this is going to be, it could be a realtor, maybe it's your realtor, but it's somebody that has a real estate license. So it could be your property manager as well, or somebody that works for your property manager. This is somebody with the license. This is going to be your boot on the ground, your boots on the ground. This is the first person we have, our agent. Number 2 is the providers. These are other real estate folks you'll be adding to your team and working with. People like realtors, property managers, investors, landlords, etc. These are the people, these are the 3 main parties involved in being able to microflip houses like this really quick. We've been doing this for years. We have a lot of heroes being able to do this now. If you want to buy and sell houses the same day or the same hour, these are the 3 people you need. You need an agent, someone's representing you. They have to have a real estate license. And then 2 are the providers, where you're constantly screening new people and adding more people to your list and building a tight relationship with people in that market that are going to have access to deals. 3 is the consumers. These are the buyers and sellers. Okay, so here's the kind of the process that we go through. First, buyers, they can find their house. The agent works to help the buyers. So first, the buyer's going out, they're finding their house. They can go out and find their own house if they want. Go out, find your dream home. We'll see if it qualifies. Then you send them to your agent, who could be a realtor, whoever. He's helping them, working with the buyers to help find them their criteria. Then we have our providers, other people. These are people, at first, you don't have anyone on speed dial. More and more people, as you do this, we're going to add more and more people on speed dial. Property managers, investors, landlords, other people, right? And then they come back to the buyers. This is our triangulation. So this triangle starts really small. You don't have any buyers. You start with buyers. You start with your agent. Doesn't matter. And you start like with one person, one buyer, one agent, and then you add one provider. And then you just do more and more iterations. The triangle starts small. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You get, every time you're going through this process, you're getting more buyers, better agents, better providers. This is what you've got to do. How many times do you need to do this before you close a deal? I'm going to go over that exact number in a second. But basically, this is the process that you go through. With every pass, you're getting more and better buyers, more and better skilled agents, and more and better providers for your VIPs. What you're doing when you start marketing for buyers is you're going to take the buyers that come in, you're going to build your VIP list. The VIP list, to get on your VIP buyers list, means they have at first it might be $3,000. Eventually it's going to be $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 down, and they have realistic expectations of a house that they want. And these are the people that are ready to go right now. They're going out, they're finding new properties that they want to be able to move into if they qualify, if those houses are able to be bought with a lease option. This is how you build your VIP list. Now, that's for terms buyers. You also want a VIP list for cash buyers, people that have cash or credit or pre-approval. You want to constantly build your VIP list. These are the most serious, hungriest people, and they have the most resources and able to get what they want, right? And that's your VIP list of buyers. Your VIP list of agents, these are the best people that are doing the best job with the signs, lockboxes, and showings. And they're also, that one agent can handle both the buying side and the selling side, right? So they're going to get the property and they're going to help move that property. Now the providers, this is important too. The reason why, if I had $20,000 down, I want a lease option, and I have realistic expectations, what would you do? If you're anything like most iBuy Homes guys, you're going to get on the phone and go nuts, but you're really not going to do that good of a job. How great it would be to have a group of providers, high quality people, real estate professionals, like we talked about, property managers, investors in your market that you could just hit a quick text to and say, hey, I need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath on the north side with $2,500 a month or something like that. I need a quick lease option, and boom, you get 5, 10 properties like that really quickly. You are able to build your own economy when you build this way. Does that make sense? Okay, so 10 steps to microflipping. Here we go. Number 1, the agent gets a call. We're going to talk about how they get a call. This is how you generate your seller leads. They get that call. Your agent, remember, your agent is your boots on the ground. This is your guy, your man representing you. They need to have a real estate license. Once they get a call or a lead, they make or get the offer for you immediately. This thing is crazy. They make or get the offer for you immediately, right? Based on the criteria they're trained with it. I don't know why it keeps going back. So an agent knows once you get a call from a seller, here's the houses I'm looking for. Go ahead and write. You don't need to talk to me. Here's what I'm looking for. Just go ahead and write the offer, or talk to the seller and say, hey, I've got a client that buys houses on terms. Why don't you tell me what you want? And they can fill in half that offer, and then they go get the offer. So the agent's totally clear on how to deal with calls, how to have a beautiful conversation, how to be good and not be a dickhead. You know, they're really good with getting on the phone. They're not all barking at people. They get people that are, you know, very loving people. Basically, they love on these people. They get this is the easy part. They get the paperwork done. They don't need to talk to you. Get that paperwork done. Number two, then they get the signs. They use your policies for the signs to get the phone blowing up. Signs, lockbox, and showings. Get a lockbox on the property and start showing the property. At first, or pretty much any time, let the seller do whatever they want on the side, so no one's risking anything. No one should pay for you to learn. Number three, take the buyer calls. Now, the buyers are going to fall in different categories. You want to build your VIP list. This is going to be all relative, right? These are the best, most profitable people that are calling you. Get that VIP list built with your best buyers, the people with the most money, best credit. These are the people that you're going to make the most money with, that are the most serious. For those VIPs now, they go and they find you the dream homes. You tell the VIPs, the people that have 20,000 or whatever down, go out and you can find your own house. Just pick any dream house and we'll see if it qualifies. So that's one way of finding those properties. 5, also the agent works their criteria to start finding a match. So the agent now goes out, takes those same buyers that they just generated. It's usually going to be the same person, and they work with them to find properties that fit that buyer's criteria. You get what I'm saying? Now, you may think, how am I moving properties that day? You're not at first. This takes time, effort. Oh my gosh, awesome. I know, just, you know, the LC will never do this. Think about this. The more steps there are to this, the less people are going to do it. If you go through these steps, you'll get this done pretty easily. This is, honestly, we don't need to use this program again. What program is this? I know, but it just like goes on its own. It's like on a timer or something. Okay, so the agent works the criteria to find a match, right? So those are 2 ways we're finding the houses. One is that the buyer is going out and finding their own house, and the agents work with them to find their criteria. 6, now you reach out to new and current providers as well. So this is where the agent is going to contact other realtors, other property managers, other landlords, other investors, other people in that area, right? And they do it at first. How many people do they have? How many providers they have? Not many, right? But as they go, they build their list of 77s. So this right here, steps 1 through 6, is called a cycle, and you repeat that cycle. How many times do you need to do this before you do a deal? Probably 3 to 7 times. You shouldn't have to do it more than that. Nobody's ever had to do it 10 times, so if you're doing it correctly, you should be able to do this 3 to 7 times. Think about what you're doing here, 3 to 7 times. Agent gets a call, they go out, they market the property, they get the signs, lockbox, they start the showings, they take the buyer's call, build the buyer's list of VIPs. Remember that triangulation? You're just getting more and better VIPs, and your agents getting better and more trained as well. The buyers go out, they find their dream homes. The agent goes out and finds properties for them. And then also, you reach out to your current providers, you send them a quick text and email, I need a property like this, and you're also getting in touch with new providers. That's one cycle. You do that 3 to 7 times before you close your first deal. And once you close your first deal, it's going to be boom, boom, boom. You want them closed every day, every 2-3 days, maximum a few times a week. This is the process you want to go through, steps 1 through 6, right? So number 7, now use your VIP buyer's search criteria to adjust your searches. So at first, you're kind of just like, let me just pick some houses, do a GXM, help some people out. But now that you've got better buyers, you've got better criteria, you've got a better thing to start saying to these people, right? You've got better criteria to start telling your buyers, your renters. As you create your own economy here, you start to understand what buyers you get and what they want, right? Number 9, also begin the lender agent model to add another 10 to 30 grand a month on the side. Number 10, start moving packages of houses and renters to investors. So investors can come in. There's investors in every market in the country that will buy properties specifically for a terms buyer. So I'll buy the property for a lease option buyer. But if you bring me a property that already has a tenant in there or a buyer tenant in there, I'll just pay you a quick $3,000 to $5,000, $10,000, and I'll get the deal. I'll get the monthly payments in the back end. So it's a quick way to double your business, make an extra 3 to 5 grand a month, or an extra 3 to 5, 10 grand a week or a month for one deal. But what you want to do is take a package of these deals. Say I've got 5 or 10 houses now because I'm doing these deals regularly, and I'm moving them for 20, 30, 40, 50 grand to investors who come in. They're able to buy, $500,000 worth of equity that has a signed agreement with the lease option tenant. Now, maybe that tenant's not going to exercise. That's okay, because what you're going to agree to do is come in. If that tenant does disappear, if there's a problem, I'll come in and help you find another lease option tenant. You'll collect that 3 to 5 grand and the down payment, and then the investor's happy as well. Does that make sense? Double dipping is what we call it. 10 steps to microflipping. Hopefully that's clear. 9 ways to find the sellers' houses and get these leads, right? This is real simple. Number 1, realtors and expired listings. I know there's no expired listings in my market. There's always expired listings and near expired listings, right? So anytime a house is about to expire in the next 7 days. Number 2, immediate offers on all the current houses. Anytime your agent or any realtor on your team, any of your providers gets a listing, say, hey, you know what? I got a friend of mine. By the way, they should have a hook in there, a mission in there. That's why you want to build your hook. They don't want to just say, oh, I know a guy. Say, hey, I got a friend of mine. By the way, I didn't say this. BigRia.com, the number 1 channel for Indiana real estate. Did you know that? We're also building the world's largest organization of special needs business owners. Our mission is to help folks around the world, make lifelong friends, helping folks around the world build generational wealth with Indiana real estate and business building. So what I just said right there is a hook. So when people say, imagine you're a realtor, imagine you signed your house with a realtor, and the realtor says, oh, I know a guy that buys and sells houses. He's an iBuyHomes guy. That's one thing. If they say, hey, a good friend of mine who's also building the world's largest organization of special needs business owners, or who's ending world hunger by growing plants 10 times faster, or who's built the largest group of speed reading, special needs speed reading people, or, special needs cold case detectives, all the badass stuff we're doing, right? Go to BigRia.com. You got to go there. That's a hook then, right? So sellers will call you up and be like, wow, this is amazing. And as soon as they told me, I got to work with you. But basically the realtor is telling any new business, hey, a good friend of mine can come out and make an offer. He'll make 2 offers, a cash offer and a terms offer. And that way they have an offer to mull on and kind of think about. Those offers almost never go through immediately, but over time, weeks, months, it's something for them to think about. So immediate offers on all the current houses and also backup offers. Anytime a house moves, hey, congratulations, you moved that listing. By the way, if you want a backup offer to give that buyer a little bit of leverage, to use as leverage with that buyer or whatever, let me know. A friend of mine will make a cash offer, backup offer, and a term sale. This is crazy. I'm having to keep going back. What you're telling these people, what you're telling the sellers, or we had a whole class on how to find motivated sellers with backup offers. It's a whole technique. It's pretty cool. But that's number 2. Number 3, property managers go to all their clients. You can still use them as well. So property managers go to all their clients. All your property managers go to all your clients and say, hey, anytime there's a vacancy or a repair or something, go to all your clients and tell them I'll make an offer on that property, and tell the property management company I'll keep you involved. If we do a lease option or a long-term you always say local company looking to make long-term leases, and you continue to use that property management company. Number 4, property management company. Anytime they have an eviction or a vacancy or any type of repair, always have your offer slide right in there. Slide in their DMs. Number 5, rent and lease option listings right off the MLS. There's always them on the MLS. You can use those. For rent ads, roommates, go to roommate sites. Airbnb's another place. Garage sales, home stagers. Whenever realtors do CMAs, they can go out there, even if they don't get the property, say, by the way, with every one of my clients, as soon as I have a listing, I get you 2 offers within 24 hours from a good friend of ours, right? They can say that in their CMA. It's a good hook. And contractors, we've made great videos on this. Go to our motivated seller page at BigRia.com. Over 100 ways to find unheard of ways of getting motivated sellers. That's like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. But we'll just say 7. Who's counting, right? FSBO ads, search for old, search for pending. GXM and open houses is a great way to start building your list. A GXM, great experiments. So a GXM, they can go out and volunteer. Great experiments model. This is our great experiment going out. We're documenting the tangible, quantifiable effect of karma. So just go out, pick a couple houses, say, hey, I'm doing a market experiment. Just want to help some, kind of test the local market, help some people out in the area. And you can just do a GXM on open houses, have your agent go out. This is how they can go out and find 3 to 5 houses at the drop of a hat that they can use as lead generators for your buyers to get your VIP buyers list, right? Number 8, buyers go and find their own dream homes. Number 9, provider alert. This is the only one you need. This is with an email or a text to all your 77 providers. You should have your providers on board. This is how you create income, immunity, and competition killing. Buddha. Buddha was asked something about anger, like, will I be punished by my anger? He said, you won't be punished by your anger. You won't be punished for your anger. You'll be punished by your anger. It's the same thing with the LC. You won't be punished by being an LC, or you won't be punished for being an LC. You'll be punished by being an LC, right? Your laziness, you don't get punished for, you get punished by. This right here, number 9, is the only thing you need to do, and it's the one thing nobody does. Everyone wants to speed flip and move houses really quickly, but I ask them, how many people do you have on speed dial? How many people can you text right now that you're in their A pile? This is the whole point of having a beautiful conversation. Not the whole point, but the reason why you want to take care of your people. Just ask yourself this. If you've spoken with Anna, if she sends you an email or text, you're going to read it, right? Because we're trained, everyone on our team, when you have one conversation with them for the rest of your life, you're going to remember them. They did something life-changing to help you and went above and beyond. the nobody mountain, create an amount of equity and effort and input that nobody's willing to do. And that way, when people hear from you, you're in their A pile. They immediately like, oh my gosh, I love this guy. You got to be in their A pile, because if you have a provider alert, imagine you have a buyer right now that has 20,000 or 15 or 10,000 or whatever. The better you've built your 77s up, the better of a group of people you have, the better that you are going to be able to go out and find these properties really quickly and have them close the deals for you and do it subtractively. We have property managers who do these deals for our heroes and do the entire deal, send them the $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 or whatever. They do all that essentially for no money because they want to get the residuals. They want to manage those properties, right? It's not that difficult to do if you build it correctly. Don't be an LC about this. It's super important. Okay, it's like, the part where we're talking about the triangulation. It's like Lincoln said, I may not walk fast, but I never walk backwards. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but just keep it going. Just keep it moving. Doesn't matter how many times it takes you to do the 3 to 7 times. Get that process going the 3 to 7 times and you'll be good. All right, 7 ways to make money. It's 10 grand a month from microflipping. Number 1 is renter money. This is really easy and really simple, obvious money. It's like, even if it's only 1 month's rent, if the rent's like $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, $3,000, if you do one of those extra a week, you're at 3 to 4 or 5 grand pretty easily. Just doing one a week. You do 2 or 3, you're at 10 grand a month. 10 grand a month is not that difficult to do just with renter money. But often we just give this to people and just give it away. You don't really need to focus on that. So that's number 1. Number 2 is lease option money, the down payment money, 3 to 5 grand. Figure out the money. If it's 3 to 5 grand a month, happen immediately. Once you have renter money, like I talked about, lease option money, down payment money, $3,000 to $5,000 a month. Figure out how much money do you need? How much money to make 10 grand a month? If it's 3 grand a month, $3,500 that you're doing, you need 3 deals, roughly 3 deals a month, and then do the math backwards. So how many calls we need a day? I'm going to go over some numbers in a second. 3, monthly spread on payments and rents. This is another way to end up being residual money. And we talked about the difference between residuals and recurring, like residuals versus getting royalties. There's a big difference there. You want to make sure that you're doing both. So that's another one. 3, monthly spreads. Number 4, financing down payments and assignments with monthlies. So you can, as soon as possible, once you get your 30 grand a month and you build a few oil wells that way, you don't want any cash. You want to keep lending people cash. So always finance down payments and assignments, because you turn it into monthly payments and you can quickly get those monthly payments up to 10 grand a month. That's number 4. Number 5, the lender agent models we've talked about many times. Go through our class on using signs. Go through our class on how to hire a realtor that pays you 10 grand a month, and our class on the only way to make 30 grand a month. These are great classes that really explain these models in depth. Number 6, investor assignments, double dipping. Remember, we talked about there's 2 main ways to do this. 1 is that you assign a property. Once you get a lease option tenant, you assign that property to an investor. 2 is that you do packages of these deals and you move them to investors after you find a tenant or a buyer tenant that's in that property. That's number 6. Number 7, a consulting agreement with an agent or broker. We do a lot of these deals because a broker wants their agents to be able to sell all their properties. This is a quick way for them to be able to take their expired listings or dead inventory and convert it. So you can do a consulting arrangement where you have 20, 30 agents bringing you deals like this and doing it regularly. Number 8, take the yes replies with lease options and move them for $200 to $500. This is a really easy way to make an extra. I say that about everything. It's all easy and it's all okay. So what happens basically is let's say you have a list of for rent ads, right? You send them all a text that says, hey, do you want to do a lease option? Do you want to do a rent to buy? Would that work for you? You get a certain amount of yes replies. You can take those yes replies and move them to an investor for $100, $200, $300 as you get a relationship with the investor and they know that those deals will convert. But you're just taking a yes reply and you're doing that. Real quickly, you're going to run out of for rent ads or for sale by owner ads, right? So that's why you want to build that infrastructure. I said it creates income immunity by having your providers, because your providers, if you have 5, 10, 15, 20 of these people, they're going to regularly produce deals for you. They're going to regularly produce these yes replies that you can move to an investor. You can say, every time you hear from me, this seller is someone who wants to do a lease option. They want to do a rent to buy. This is somebody who wants to get paid on terms. They want to do a lease option. So once you get those leads, once you get that yes reply, you can move it to a seller. So if you get 2 of these a day and you're moving them to an investor for $250, it's an easy $500 a day. But you make a lot more money if you actually do the deal and do this little bit of extra legwork. So make sure that happens. Another way of doing this is do the exact same thing. Move these deals to an investor, but do it with buyer approvals. So remember we talked about getting the lender agent model going, getting your buyers going. As you get your VIP. Now the same thing you can do with buyer approvals. So remember we're building our buyer leads every day, and we're building our VIP list. What about when the buyers approve? When you can get paid $150, $200, $300, $400, $500 per approval or per credit repair or whatever. We take them per approval. So if you get your lender, your lender, your mortgage broker is actually going to pay you anywhere from $100 to $200, $300 at least per approval. This is a quick way. If you do an open house on a property, you can have your lender show up and screen these people as they come in, or help them get the information about the house, and they take the applications right there. And at the end of the day, you make $500, $1,000, $1,500 a day. We've had a lot of people do this just on the weekends. Doing this on the weekends, making an extra $10,000 a month just doing these on the weekends. So those are the last two. Take the yes replies. You get paid $200 or $300 per lead, per consumer. Same thing with the buyers. I don't recommend doing that for very long, because eventually you want to work with your buyers, work with your lenders, work with these people. Make sure that both the consumer you're sending over, the buyer or the seller, is getting a good job on what they want, and also that the lender and that the or the investor, whoever's getting, who's going to be in charge with helping that consumer, is also seeing a growth in their business as well. So examples of how to make $500,000. Example of how to make $500 to $1,000 a day doing these micro flipping deals. So let's say you're making just $3,000 on these lease option deals. That should be the bare minimum, right? $3,000 for a down payment. If somebody wants a house, they should have at least $3,000, right? So $3,000 for a down payment. That means you need to do 1 to 2 deals every 6 days. In order to make $500 to $1,000 a day, you need to do 1 to 2 deals every 6 days. Right? So if you need 5 leads or 5 engagements, right? Yes replies. Then that means for 1 a day, in order to be doing that, you need to have 1 a day or 10 for 2 days. What does that say? For engage, if they have $3,000 a deal, that means you're doing 1 to 2 deals every 6 days, right? So if you need 5 leads or 5 engagements for 1 deal, that means you need 10 for 2. So you're going to need 10 of these to do 2 deals over that same period of time. So every 6 to 7 days, you need 5 to 10 leads, or about 1 lead a day. This is, again, the worst case scenario at $3,000. So 1 lead a day. Of all those different ways that we had, the 9 to 14 different ways that we talked about, you just need 1 to produce twice a month. Or if 1 produces once a month, you're about $500 a day. If 1 produces twice a month, then you're at $1,000 a day. You get what I'm saying? This is how you want to get this going. Bruce Lee said that famous quote, I don't fear the man that practiced 5,000 kicks. I fear the man that has practiced 1 kick 5,000 times. Once you know what your goal is, that you got to get these engagements done, your goal is you want to have 5,000 different ways of making that happen. You want to have 5,000 different ways of throwing a single kick. And the better you can do that, the more income immunity you have. And think about how hard it would be for somebody to compete with you, or to come in and blow up your spot, as they say. It'd be almost impossible, because you've got the relationships, you've got that equity, right? The 77. So make sure you go through our other examples and you see how many people. 10 a day is really pretty easy. There's a great quote Lombardi had saying, "Confidence is contagious, so is the lack of it." It's the same thing with passion. Build your business with passion, with things you really want to do, and it'll be easy to get things going. How to microflip summary. There's 5 ways we talked about how to microflip. We went over those at the very beginning. We went over 2 ways of doing lease options and assignable lease options. 3 main parts of this business, the 3 main ways to get this going, the 3 main people that you need to get in touch with, the 3 main parties that you want to build relationships with, the microflipping triangulation, the iteration, the pattern that you want to follow, the buyers, the agents, and the providers, and how you just want to keep repeating steps 1 through 6, keep going through that until you have your deals closed. And then the more deals you go, basically you're going to build up your buyers list, your VIP buyers, and that way your providers and your agent know, if I get a property like this, I can move it today. I can move it this same exact hour that I get a property, because we use their criteria to search, and then we also have more and more and better providers that we're reaching out to every time we have a good buyer that's ready to go. This is how you want to get these deals done. You want to have both the buyers and the sellers, as many people ready to go ahead of time. That'll help you close these deals. We went over the 10 steps to microflip these deals from A to Z. I walked you through everything. 9 easy ways for your agents to get sellers and deals regularly. Actually, there's more than that, but they can get deals and get these leads and get these engagements easily. 7 ways to make $10,000 a month on these deals. I think it was like 9 ways, right? The math to make $500 to $1,000 a day doing this, remember Rumi said, is you go the way appears. Just get this process going, guys. It's not that difficult. It's pretty easy to get going. It's actually a lot of fun. That's how you get microflipping going. Go to bigria.com. You'll love it. It's beautiful and brilliant, just like me, right? Go there, bigria.com. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon. Thanks.